What's up, everybody? Ahsoka episode 5 is here, and holy shit. Holy shit. Dave Filoni did something truly special here this week, and we have to get into it. I will be diving into full spoilers on the episode, so if for some reason you're here without having seen the episode, I advise you come back once you've seen it. I'm gonna break it up into what happens, and last week with the fights, I'll have a whole section just for the Clone Wars stuff, and we'll wrap it up with what the end of the episode means. I will say, if you're gonna stay up to date with all my coverage of the show, the best way to do that is to subscribe to the channel so you're not missing out on anything and so you give me more opportunities to bring you more content. I'd greatly appreciate it if you do so, and now sit back and enjoy the breakdown. We start off as Hera searches Cetos for Ahsoka and Sabine, and once she's in the temple area, she hears and then finds Hu Yang, who's holding Sabine's helmet and looking over the sea. This was a really strong opening scene, and the tone that is set by yet another phenomenal score by Kevin Kiner is truly great. After the credits, we return to the World Between Worlds, or so it seems to be, as Ahsoka and Anakin stand off, and he says he wants to finish her training, and he's going to do so by initiating a fight with her to teach her how to survive. We go through three different situations or memories, flashbacks, whatever you want to call them, that took place during the Clone Wars. Two of which we were familiar with, and then one that's a new one, I believe. And like I said, there's going to be a whole section about all that, so hold your horses. As we jump back and forth, we see Carson Teva mention that they need to hurry up and contact the New Republic because their helper can't hold them off much longer. And oh, who's their helper? None other than Senator Leia Organa. This is such a nice Easter egg, and stay tuned leading up to episode 6. I will have a video talking about her supposed role in the series. But anyway, as that's happening, Jason sits at the sea with Chopper, and then he hears something as he's channeling his father as he tells Hera he's hearing clashing, but not the clashing of the waves, the clashing of lightsabers. So they send the search party out for another round of sweeps, and once Ahsoka learns the lesson, that's important. They they sweep, they can't find her. I do believe it's once she learns the lesson, whether it be the Force or herself, allows her to be found, and they get her in the water. They get her out, she recovers, and the one most excited to see her is little Jason. He goes with Hu Yang to see her Jedi starship, and he's thrilled, and as they're going, he asks Hu Yang if he'll train him and help him build a lightsaber, to which Hu Yang the Grump says no, but we'll see, Hu Yang. We'll see how strong your word is. The episode ends as Ahsoka has become Ahsoka the White, and she communes with the Purgle as they enter the mouth of the big Gooba Purgle and start their journey as they hope it'll take them to Peridia so they can save Ezra and Sabine. Just like I said last week, I'm trying not to rate these episodes. I'm trying to wait till the season's done, but I seriously can't help myself. This is now back to back 10 out of 10 episodes for this show, and Dave Filoni continues to ascend to his position as heir to George Lucas. Alright, now let's get into those scenes with Anakin. I want to start by saying, from both my knowledge of the leaks for the show and my interpretation of the scenes, it's all in her head. I think what portrays this is that instead of walking around the world between worlds like they do in Rebels, which I believe is also in Ahsoka's head, not the stuff in Rebels, the stuff in this show, in the world between worlds, I believe is in her head. She falls and fades through these different memories. Also, as I go through the events, you'll see how as Ahsoka changes, so does Anakin, which I think is yet another thing showing it's in her head. It all starts as he wants to fight her and she doesn't want to, but she's got to defend herself, and in her effort to avoid the fight, Anakin slashes a path in the world between worlds and she falls as we start the memories. The first is the Battle of Teth featured in the Clone Wars movie. It was so cool seeing one of her very first battles with him, and to see Hayden in the Clone Wars armor, it's like can't even put it into words. I had to pinch myself because I thought I was dreaming. She's not sure what's going on, and at this point, Anakin is Anakin, but he's a little short fused with her, and that's how he always was, or at least in the early days. It got a little better. The second is, as far as I know, an unfamiliar fight to us, as it's a battle on Ryloth, and we know that because we see the freedom fighters who are led by Hera's father, Cham Syndulla, which cues us in on the planet. One can assume that this is after Obi-Wan takes his troops in, after Mace secures the capital, and they're just down there finishing off the clankers. That makes sense to me because Anakin and Ahsoka fought in the battle above Ryloth, clearing out the blockade so the ground forces can get in. But anyway, this is the moment Ahsoka starts doubting what's going on, and Anakin starts to lose patience, so as that happens and he leads the 501st away, we start getting him glitching or flashing, fading, whatever you want to say, between Anakin and Vader. Then the final memory is the Siege of Mandalore, but Anakin shows up. This is where it takes a turn for the worse, but we do get to see Rex first in live action, which was great, and Tim Morrison does the voiceover for it too, which was always great. But here is when Ahsoka kind of lashes out on Anakin for a change, and when she does, he snaps and starts to fight with her again, but this time he's got the Sith eyes and his red saber. I love this. It was such a brilliant and subtle way to develop Ahsoka's character while delivering beautiful fan service moments, but meaningful fan service, not just simple bullshit like the Kenobi show did. But staying on track, they go back into the world between worlds, and once again, as Hayden marches towards Ahsoka, it flashes between Anakin and Vader. These were some of the coolest visuals in all of Star Wars, quite honestly, and the fight ends as Ahsoka refuses to kill Anakin, and this ends her lesson. The fan in me was losing my mind during this, but the viewer in me was truly blown away, regardless of my connection to this universe, because as I've said, it was brilliant. I will say, I still don't like the live action Phase 1 clone design. Never have, never will probably, but in saying that, I'm glad Dave stayed true to George's design, regardless of my personal feelings. Also, I think Ariana Greenblatt was brilliant as a young Ahsoka Tano. It's really hard to get some of these animated characters' depictions down to a T, but uh, she resembled her enough. Face was a little off, but the makeup and everything great, and her performance was so good that it really didn't matter. And the performance is always what matters the most. With all that greatness out of the way, let's talk about the end of the episode. We have Hera and Phoenix Squad returning, or probably not all Phoenix Squad, but a part, returning to the New Republic fleet. Then Ahsoka and Hu Yang are jumping to hyperspace in the Purgle's mouth. So Hera is going to return to Coruscant, where we're going to see her likely see Leia Organa trying to assist the general in keeping her rank as she seemingly stands trial for going to save Ahsoka and Sabine and Ezra. I don't. The New Republic sucks. Like I said, stay tuned for that video. I have to do a little research before I make the video, but it'll be out before Episode 6. Well, Ahsoka and Hu Yang will likely end up in Peridia, if you ask me, because of the Force connection with the Purgle and everything. Like, I know Ahsoka says she's not too confident in them, but I think even though she doesn't know for sure where they're going, the Purgle, they got the idea. Next week's episode feels like it'll introduce 3 new characters in Ezra, Thrawn, and Enoch. I guess Ezra and Thrawn aren't new, but they're new to the show. And Enoch is Thrawn's bodyguard in Peridia, as this part of the story begins to culminate. I absolutely love this episode in all its areas. The score, the visuals, the story, it was all brilliant. But let me know what you thought of this episode, and if you say anything other than it was great, I will burn you at the stake. Ooh, that rhymed. I found a new career. In all seriousness, let me know what you'd rate this episode and what you thought about it, and make sure you have a great day.